So 3T is a private equity-owned business that focuses on safety, mainly on safety-related training. Again, mainly in the energy sector, internationally. We're very well known in that space. I run a small part of the business that is focusing on software to support training compliance. So, in the industries that we work in, many of the roles you have to have certain qualifications in order to be able to do your job. So, it's very important that companies track which of their employees' certificates are still valid, which ones need to be renewed, and so on. So our software helps to track that. Also helps for those companies that are taking skills very seriously, so looking past compliance, not just compliance. We support competence management, so normally that involves a competence profile for a job, and then looking at where the gaps are and how best to close those. And then we also offer learning management software as part of that, so delivering learning content to our customers. So that's the role that I've been playing. So there are a couple of major challenges. One is that we've been re-architecting what we call our classic solutions. So the software that I described a minute ago, that architecture is now pretty old. It's not very flexible. It isn't SaaS native. And so we've been investing heavily in re-architecting, so rebuilding something new called 3TX. Also, we then need to migrate our customers. So we've got a massive migration of our existing customers planned over the next 6 to 12 months, where we've got to bring quite a large number of customers across from the old software to the new software. So it's about launching this new re-architected software and making sure that it's fit for purpose and meets customers' needs, and then also migrating existing customers. And that requires certain, the re-architecture requires certain technical skills. So there's a lot of work to do. There are a lot of data challenges. The way in which the previous system was architected was quite poor. So, working with the data and extracting that from the legacy systems and get it fit for purpose in the new systems, is challenging. It's not a straightforward job. So quite a few challenges. Well, I know Vanita from previous roles that I've had. So we've probably known one another for maybe 6 or 7 years. When I guess Systango was smaller than it is now. So we've always had a good relationship. I've always trusted, in previous roles when I've used Systango, she's always been available. The fact that she spends quite a lot of time in the UK is great, because you can actually meet face to face with someone. Her background means that she's very able to understand the requirements, and she's built a team around her that kind of is a high quality team. So I knew Vanita from previous roles. She was credible. Systango was credible. So I think there was that, and then there was also the fact that the architecture that we're working for our new solution it's very modern. So we're AWS native, serverless, microservices, event-driven architecture, all of that stuff. And actually those skills are quite hard to find. So in the UK, obviously those skills exist, but it's a competitive market for those skills, so people are expensive. And if you need quite a large number of people like we did, then it's hard to find them. So I spoke to Vanita about our requirements, and Systango, the team, were able to find the number of people that we required relatively easily, which I think is great, because that was going to be a struggle finding the skills to support our architecture. I think it's been excellent. Like all relationships, occasionally things don't go perfectly well. So, like for example, one of the teams we had to build out with Systango was a data team, and we needed data architects because of the complexity, as I was talking about, the complex data structures in the legacy system, and trying to find the right ways to pull that data into the new solution. And I think in that case, one of the people that we onboarded from Systango didn't work out, and the responsiveness when there's a problem is very quick. So within a couple of weeks we fixed the problem. We had the right skills in place, and the guys have always managed to fit well into our team. So they, it's not like it's just Systango and our teams, everything working separately. In most cases, we've blended the teams. So the Systango engineers or QAs or whoever data engineers become a part of a team. So it's a part of how we do things. It's not a separate kind of team working on their own. We get enough attention, like if we have something complex to deal with, Benita herself or one of her senior team will get involved. So there's if you compare Systango with, one of the big outsourcing organizations, I won't name them, but although Systango has grown and is successful as a business, we get a level of service that's still it's almost like it's a startup wanting to satisfy all of its customers rather than us being just a small customer amongst many thousand customers, and we don't get that level of personal attention. So we still get that level, and that's a key factor for us. I think some of them I've already mentioned. The fact that Systango has been able to provide the modern architectural skills in the developers that we're looking for, given that there are not that many people, it's not that common, those skills are not yet that common. So that's been critical. If Systango were unable to provide those, we would have had to have gone elsewhere, because we absolutely need to have those skills. And fortunately, Benita and the team have those skills within the team. So that's been critical. I think the responsiveness, that we've spoken about, although VT is quite a large, it's a medium-sized organization now. We still need to move quickly. We need to move very quickly to satisfy our customers. And Systango is able to move quickly with us. So that's important. So I would say it's a mix of having the right skills and technology talent within Systango, as well as the culture of Systango, which is about that, customer support, responsiveness, moving quickly, almost like, being like a sort of agile kind of startup, sort of doing things. I think we've also partly addressed that previously in the sort of skills that we've required and how well Systango have been able to meet those. And I think obviously it's important that Benita and the team keep focusing on, the latest technology. I haven't spoken to her in much detail, but I know you've got almost like a bit of an innovation center that you're kind of innovating and working on new technologies and thinking about things like that. So that, I think, is something that's super useful. It's a good strategic move. I think possibly customers need to have more insight into what that part of Systango is doing and why. So that's maybe an opportunity for more communication with the customer base. But that sort of, I'm left as a customer, I'm clear that there's quite a lot of innovation taking place. I'd like to see a little bit more of what that is for the future. But overall, we couldn't have asked for more, I don't think.